Breaking news. Canadian PM candidate Chrystia Freeland slams Trump's tariffs. In a recent interview with CNN's Zakaria, Canadian Prime Minister candidate and former Foreign and Financial Minister Chrystia Freeland leveled severe criticism against former President Donald Trump's tariffs on imports from Canada. Describing the measure as both a betrayal and utter madness, Freeland condemned what she called an act of economic warfare that has strained relations between the United States and Canada. During the interview, which aired on CNN and has since garnered widespread attention in international media, Freeland asserted that the tariffs were designed to undermine Canada's economy and disrupt long-standing trade ties. She expressed her frustration by stating, "This is not just about trade, it is about respect and fairness. Imposing these tariffs is a direct affront to our economic sovereignty and a clear sign that the current policy is misguided." While a full transcription of the conversation is not publicly available at this time, multiple reports indicate that Freeland's remarks were part of a broader critique of the current U.S. trade policy. The discussion touched on how such measures are not only detrimental to Canada's economic interests, but also risk destabilizing the regional balance that has long underpinned North American trade relations. Freeland's strong language reflects a growing consensus among Canadian policymakers and business leaders who view the tariffs as an unnecessary escalation. In her comments, she linked the tariffs to a wider pattern of protectionist policies that, she warned, could lead to retaliatory measures and further economic isolation for Canada. The interview also featured a discussion on how these tariffs might affect the broader geopolitical landscape. Freeland argued that, in today's interconnected global economy, unilateral actions such as these harm not only the targeted nation, but also contribute to a climate of uncertainty and mistrust. Internationally, she emphasized that, if the United States continues down this path, it risks alienating its closest allies and undermining the rules-based order that has long been the cornerstone of international trade. In related developments, several sources have noted that prominent Western trade and economic experts have echoed Freeland's concerns. Analysts suggest that Trump's tariff policy, which has been in place for several years, could lead to significant disruptions in supply chains and increased costs for consumers on both sides of the border. Some experts even warn that the current measure might be the precursor to a broader protectionist shift in U.S. policy, one that would have far-reaching implications for global markets. According to CNN and additional reporting from Yahoo News, these tariffs are part of a series of controversial economic policies championed by Trump during his tenure in office. They were implemented with the stated aim of protecting American industries, but critics argue that they have instead strained relationships with key trading partners such as Canada. As trade tensions continue to simmer, Freeland's remarks serve as a stark reminder that such policies may have unintended and far-reaching consequences. The reaction in Canada has been swift. Many business leaders and economists have called for a reevaluation of the tariff policy, urging the United States to engage in meaningful negotiations rather than unilateral measures. In a statement released shortly after the interview, a spokesperson for Canada's Ministry of International Trade stressed that the tariffs undermine the cooperative spirit necessary for a prosperous bilateral relationship. While Freeland's interview with Zakaria has sparked debate both in North America and internationally, it remains clear that the issue of tariffs on Canadian imports is far from a settled matter. As discussions continue in diplomatic circles, both sides appear to be bracing for a period of prolonged tension. The hope among many observers is that a negotiated resolution can be reached before the economic fallout intensifies further. In the IIR summary, Canadian PM candidate Chrystia Freeland's passionate denunciation of Trump's tariffs marks a significant moment in the ongoing trade dispute between the United States and Canada. As policymakers on both sides of the border deliberate on the next steps, the international community watches closely, aware that the outcome will not only shape the future of North American trade, but also signal broader shifts in global economic policy.